Log into gyroscopeme.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio Internet Radio Station powered by GMG LLC.
One, two. Check me out right here, yo. Need to turn the track up a little bit for me. All up in my ears. The mic is loud, but the music ain't loud. Yeah. Yeah. Now the mic is low now. Turn the mic up a little bit. Now this shit's all the way up. Yeah. The music is loud. God, it's knocking up. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to wild out.
Let's pop it.
Yo, what it do, y'all? You know what I'm saying? It's your boy, man. I'm back in the building, man. It's the voice of the culture. And this week, man, is my 50th episode, man. I'm blessed to be here for this 50th joint, man. But, man, I got a crew with me today, man. Me and this brother, man. We've been bumping heads and moving and grooving for the past on the low 10, maybe 15 years, man, quietly. You know what I'm saying? This brother, man, it's all the way from Ahoskie all the way back up top. When I say Ahoskie, shout out to Ahoskie, North Carolina, because that's where this kind of really started from, on the low. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man OC out there, Trav, the whole family, man. But enough is enough, man. Let's give a round table love and appreciation to my man Jeff, man. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you, Shamik. I appreciate it, man. I'm out here in New Jersey. We're at the Round Table podcast. I mean, I did a few podcasts, but I don't want to do nothing without showing some love to my people. And me and Shamik go too far back for me not to be on this episode. So
I'm blessed to have him in the building.
This is long overdue. I have one of my friends with me, one of my closest friends, Mike, CEO of 1520 Records. And I definitely brought him out here because I've been mentoring Mike, and I just want to continue to see him grow, and I want him to grow along with me. So we all on this journey together.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Welcome
I appreciate
to the round
you.
table, King. I appreciate you, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad he brought, some greatness to the table as well, besides his greatness, man. Because that's what we got to do. We got to just keep being great with each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We got to keep throwing these alley-oops, these assists, these passes, and just keep rocking and keeping the ball rolling, man. And this is what it's all about, man. So, yo, man, champ, you everywhere.
I'm trying to be here.
Nah, you ain't trying. You rolling everywhere, man. You everywhere, man.
I'm trying,
and I salute you for even, man, the moves that you making, champ, is just till the wheels fall off, as they say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And definitely, man, the book. Let's talk about, my man's got the novel. You might have, he just gave the speech at Iona University. I'm going to just let him talk, man. Jay, man, let's the people know a little bit about you and your story first and foremost, King.
Well, first, like he said, I was born in Ahoskie, so I definitely want to show some love to my people in Ahoskie. The Holloman family, my grandmother, started this legend for our family, and I just want to carry that legend on. I want to make her proud of me. I want my mother, the people that's closest to me that grew up in Ahoskie. It's a small town, but as you see, we on the map. We out in New Jersey now. I originally was born in Ahoskie. I moved to Harlem when I was younger on 149th Street between 7th and 8th. During the 80 crack era, coming through Harlem, it was, a challenge raising a kid in Harlem. A lot of the drugs, a lot of the influence in the city was negative at the time. there was a lot of killings and guns and things like that going on. So one of the reasons why I wanted to write the book and, just to go against some of that gun violence, to get some of these kids to channel their energy into like real estate, which is something that I'm gonna get into a little later. But, just get them a better direction, get them better focus. I want to see more graduations and less prison sentences is basically where I'm going with it. And then after I moved from Harlem, I moved to the Bronx and High Bridge, and I went to Sacred Heart Junior High School there when I was about in the 5th, 6th grade. And then I ended up maybe in the 7th grade. June 25th is really where the story started. On that fatal day, after school, it was the last day of school in June, I ended up going to one of my friend's house, me and my brother, and while we was at his house, he showed me a gun, and we started playing with the gun. When we started playing with the gun, he pointed the gun at me. I grabbed my head. When I grabbed my head, I saw the barrel of the gun go off, so when I grabbed my head, the gun went off and the bullet hit me under my arm. So I ended up in a wheelchair, but that's not really how the story ends. So I went through. Ended up both of my lungs collapsed while I was when the bullet hit me. So the bullet closed up the hole in my side, and I ended up bleeding internally. So I lost the use of both of my lungs on the way to the hospital. We went down. He carried me down 5 flights of stairs to the hospital.
How old was you at the time, King?
I was 13 years old.
Whew.
Yeah. Right before most people start puberty, most people, before you even get to go to high school. So my childhood got cut short. I really didn't get to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do. I mean, the bullet left me in a situation, paralyzed from the waist down, where I couldn't sit up. I couldn't really do nothing for myself at the time when the bullet hit me. So, I mean, to be in that state, my childhood kind of got stripped from me, where a lot of things that most kids grow up wanting to do, or, the dreams and aspirations they have in their life, I didn't see that kind of future. I really didn't know where I was going from there. Laying in a bed 9 months, looking at a ceiling, wondering, where do I go from here? Which direction, what's next for my life? And, being 13 years old, I really didn't even know how to wrap my head around that,
Right.
Yeah. So I went on to, I'm laying there day in and day out wondering, when I'm going to walk again. And for like 3 or 4 months, I had no idea that I wasn't going to ever walk again. So one day the doctor came in the room and he tell my mother, that this ain't really looking good. And he walk out in the hallway, and my brother come back in the room, and they just got this look on their face that looked like, life was over. And my mother looked at me and she said, I'm going to go out in the hallway. My brother came, and my brother couldn't even look at me. The news was so bad. And I just asked my brother, like, just please tell me the truth. My brother said, they said you ain't not sit up no more. You ain't going to be able to walk no more. And I really didn't even know which way to go from there. Like,
especially being at that age.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't cry. I couldn't even respond to it. It was one of them things where, people go through things in life, and you think, small things that I used to think was like a problem or something that I was worried about. It wasn't really no answers. It wasn't no guide for how do you live in a wheelchair? How do you live with a disability? How does society treat you now that you have a disability? How do you, which way do you go from here? So I laid there, thought about it that night. When my mother and my brother left, I just cried. I probably cried for the next 30 days, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, just nonstop crying, trying to
wrap your head around.
Just trying to find myself. It's like somebody just pulled the plug on me and just cut the lights out on my life. I had no hope. I had nowhere to go. I really had no answer.
You was a baby though, true though, King.
Yeah.
You were a kid at the time. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you was born like this.
Right. I mean, it's funny you say that because, being in a wheelchair, and like people always question. I was on a panel one time, And one of the young ladies was like, "You don't really understand what being disabled is or not walking really is because you wasn't born like that." And it's really interesting because I said to her, I don't really know which one is better, to be born in a wheelchair or to have walked and lose the ability to walk. So I can't really be the judge on which one is better. Some people think if you never walked before, then you really don't know what you lost.
Exactly.
Then some people feel like, I would rather have never done it and then get the op than lose it.
It's a touchy situation.
Yeah,
man.
so it's kind of deep, the which way you go on that, But like I explained to her, either way it goes, it's a dark place to be. Not having all your faculties, not being able to do certain things that limit you because you can't walk. And when it first happened at being 13, I really had that type of mindset where I thought, because you don't have the use of your legs, there's so many things you won't ever be able to do. And along this journey, I started changing my mindset. And then changing my mindset, I realized I could still do everything I want to do. I just have to figure out a different way to do it.
Right.
And that's really how my life ended up changing, because I started thinking different. I started changing the way I see things. I started changing the way I do things. And then I also stopped saying what I can't do, and I start asking myself, how can you do it? And
Makes a difference.
Big difference, So
Yeah.
when you start asking yourself, how can I do it? A lot of things that other people may think is not possible, then you have to make it possible.
Right.
And then because of the way, being that I got shot in 1982, that was like before the American Disability Act that was enacted in 1990. You didn't have lifts on buses. There wasn't no accessible city.
It was definitely a wholly different game back then.
Yeah, definitely. So, being one of the first people that was visibly on the street, in all the mainstream areas, like, places like the Rooftop Skate Key, the rink in Jersey, and things like that. Being the only person in a wheelchair in my junior high school, my high school, even going to college where there was like one or two people that was in a wheelchair. So I was always in an audience or environment where I was the only person there in a wheelchair. So I had to be that person to be the role model for what life is like with a disability. And I was just determined that I want to be just like the rest of the people. I want to be normal. I want to do everything everybody else is doing. And my mission was, from that day that I started recovering at 13, till now, is everything people say I can't do, I'm going to do it,
And you're doing it quite well, champ. Let's be clear. You making it look, you know what I mean? You making it, I know the journey wasn't easy, but I know you make it look so effortless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you here, because I have to salute you as, I didn't even know your journey at first, but I just kept bumping, like I said, we kept bumping into each other, seeing each other. You always fresh. You hopping out the whips. You got the S's on the joints. I'm like, yo, yeah. Like, and it you was in a way, I'm gonna be honest, to us, you were your own star.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we saw you as. I'm gonna be honest. That's how I saw you as personally.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get in these situations, they get confined.
Right.
And they get lost, and they don't want to be in the mix. You stay. I'm seeing you in the mix.
Right.
Chilling, fresh. Like, yo, what's up? We here. We in the building. We doing the same thing y'all doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it made me realize, how, first and foremost, how blessed we are, but also made me realize, you could do anything you put your mind to.
Right, exactly.
And then the story just keeps going on. Like I said, we bumping into you. We here. I'm seeing you everywhere, King. And it's like, I've seen you in the rink.
Right.
I was in the rink. I lived down the street from the rink Tuesday nights.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Come on, like, I come from that era. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was like, King was, and that's the part of the game I think people don't understand, man. The mental state is not allowing you to be a prisoner of who you are.
Absolutely.
And you didn't do that.
I think most people create their own fear. Most people are in their own way. And, like you saying, I remember my first time going to the rink. I actually just started driving at the time. When I actually had my mother's car, and I've put hand controls on it so I could drive the car. And I remember when back then we used to race back to New York from the rink to Willie Burgers, and I was racing somebody back from the rink that night, and had a head-on collision. When I got back to Harlem, a Jeep ran a light and hit me head on, spent the car into a 360, and I ended up on the sidewalk wrapped around a pole. So I mean, I had so many brushes with death
Yeah.
that, you know,
That's
I felt
crazy.
like a cat with 9 lives, you know.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doubled up on him.
Absolutely. So, and you know, even coming to the rink for the first time, living in New York and meeting all the people in Teaneck, you know, I met a lot of, you know, the regular skaters in Teaneck, the females and the guys who was like regular skaters there. And, you know, I just became like part of Jersey. I was in Jersey so much that, you know, people show me love in Jersey and Teaneck just like they do in New York and Harlem,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
I mean, you
Official.
can't separate greatness from greatness. It is what it is. Real attract real.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah.
You look real familiar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it all. You know what I'm saying? And you've done so much though, King. Like in your journey, your accomplishments, what you have accomplished, some brothers probably couldn't even fathom. You speaking at panels, King, at universities.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest impact, you know, like people ask me sometimes, like, do you regret your life? Do you regret getting shot? Do you regret being in a wheelchair? And I mean, it's real odd because, of course, I would love to walk one day. And I never give up on that dream, you know, because my faith is strong. And I
Of course.
believe that, you know,
We
everything
walk
would
by
happen.
faith and not by sight.
Absolutely. So I think the biggest, you know, accomplishment for me is being in a wheelchair, being a role model for not only people with disabilities, but people that's walking to be able to motivate and inspire them. And when I'm at universities and I have students come up to me after my speeches and tell me, you know, Jeff, I was thinking about committing suicide. And after hearing your story, I decided not to do that. And I just don't really believe that walking, had I not had this journey or this tragedy, I would have been the same person that could touch as many lives as I have touched in this wheelchair. So, I mean, where most people would hate to be in a wheelchair, that wheelchair has been like a Grammy for me.
Yeah.
You know, for the journey.
Right.
You know.
Because at the end of the day, you know, for a young man or young woman, whoever came up to you, your story is like just is we don't see it every day in our community. Let's be clear, we don't see it every day in our community.
Right.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Is they either born, and you know, okay, you got the. Because me personally, I wake up every morning and I pick up a group of individuals that have disabilities.
Right.
Yeah.
And I talk to them and I tell them in the van every day. One lady was telling me, shout out to my girl Susie. She's like, yo, I go to the Special Olympics. I said, you're not special. You're great.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Like I let them know that I'm never going to separate y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when you born like that, people, family had dependency. We gonna put you over here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're growing up in Harlem. You
Yeah.
know what
Right.
I'm saying? And it's like, yo, we gonna I'm here. I'm on Front Street. I'm in the building.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody say now, I'm outside.
Definitely.
You know, and you was outside.
And
Yeah.
I'm still
And
outside.
you still outside. And he pulled up in the drop outside. Top down,
Yeah, that's how
outside.
and Mike pulled up in a drop. We ain't
Right.
come together.
Yeah.
We came in separate
Back
drops.
to back
Yeah,
drops.
yeah.
But
That's
you know,
it.
that's just how it go. When the weather get nice, the drops come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
So like,
absolutely.
you know, they just go to show you we not gonna stop playing.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And you did, you know what I mean? And just not just that, man. Touching the community.
Absolutely.
That's something.
I mean, I love giving back. I mean, I wanna be represented. I wanna be included. And the thing is not really about me. It's about everybody I see that's rolling, everybody that's walking, everybody that supported me on this journey, people that gave me 5 that didn't even know me. There's so many people that know me from just seeing me in the street that got love for me, whether they speak to me every day, whether they sat at my mother's dining room table eating dinner with me. I have love for everybody, you know, whether I'm in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Jersey, North Carolina, Virginia, Atlanta. Like, it's no state that I don't pull up in, and I don't have family, friends that have supported me along the way. So whenever you see me on TV, on these podcasts, whenever whoever see me winning, know that I didn't win, we won. Because everybody that pushed this chair, everybody that took me to school, you know, my friends that made sure I was good every day, you know, and people in the street that made sure I was good every day. I mean, you know, I just got so much respect for everybody that showed me the way, you know.
Yeah, because once again, at the end of the day, champ, you know, everybody don't know how to deal with these things.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? And to see one of us, it's like seeing a brother come home from doing 20 and being successful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's so many different success stories that we don't see or understand. You know what I mean? I want to ask you this though: how did the family take it? Because at the end of the day, I know it was some animosity or some personal, like,
Yeah.
I know it was some anger there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, this story, just like the story is one of a kind and it's weird. My family situation was one of a kind where I was 13, my friend that shot me was 15, my brother was 14, and we all was together when it happened. And when my mother found out that my friend had shot me, she was like really in shock because she just couldn't believe that, when the detective came to the hospital and my brother and my friend was standing in the hallway and the detective said, from the story, because I wouldn't tell who shot me. I said that I was outside and, growing up under the code where we don't do snitching.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't tell. And on my way to the hospital, we decided I was going to say I was outside. Somebody was shooting and I got hit. And when we got to the hospital, either my friend or my brother said I was in the building. And two of us were saying I was outside. So the detective kind of figured out the story wasn't really right. And he went to my mother and said, I think one of them shot him. And my mother's like in shock, like, what you mean you think one of them shot him? It can't be one of them because that's his friend and that's his brother. And the cop said, one of them definitely did it. And then my mother went and talked to my brother, and my brother let my mother know that my friend did it. She told the detective that my friend did it. So I ended up dropping the charges, because the state tried to get him for the gun and the gun charges.
Right.
The gun was registered, so we ended up dropping the charges, and he never was arrested for it. But the fact of our age and the fact that we was kids, immediately my mother forgave my friend. And like my mother embraced him, and to this day she treat him like that's one of her sons. And we all forgave him, the family forgave him. So as strange as it may seem, it was one of them things where, my mother just looked at the bigger picture and decided, you know what, they both as kids, we not going that route,
Right.
And when I look back, growing up in Harlem, growing up in the streets, where revenge is like first and center, I'm kind of proud that, for that circumstance, we didn't really retaliate. We didn't really go with the revenge and things like that because,
It would have been a domino effect.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Recycle.
It's cycle. And that just goes to show you the essence of what your family stands on. It
Right.
also
Exactly.
comes from what the family stands on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it ain't about, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. It's the reality of, we not doing that.
Right.
That's just what it is. We're not going to second guess. We're not double back it. It was from the jump. We're not even going this route from this jump.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It shows character, I believe, like real character, because
All day.
Definitely.
the norm and obviously where we come from is retaliation and how you gonna do that? Oh, you soft and this and this. Everything is self-esteem issues too. Like
It's
people
pride,
don't
it's ego,
All of that.
people don't
True,
have
that's
self-identity neither.
ignorance.
Ignorance,
Right.
yeah. So I just believe, it definitely took a lot because, like you said, obviously for him not to feel no type of way, but then your family, people that love you,
Right,
care
because
for
he
you.
could have felt where he felt in the family. Like, nah, we got nothing. Nah,
Right,
we
Yeah,
not
right.
doing that. Yeah.
Right.
We not. If this is what I'm standing on, this is what I'm standing on, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what? Your past is not your future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Like that.
I love
You know what
that.
I'm saying? Your past is not your future, man. We gonna talk about the greatness that came out of all of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of the things I'm proud of, because when you look at me, my brother, and my friend, and us being 13, 14, and 15 at that age, you wonder, like, where did they end up at? And my brother was successful, and my friend was successful, and I'm successful. So that's exactly what you're saying.
It was in the plan.
Right.
It was kind of it was written.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
And sometimes God puts you on a path so you can have a better purpose in life. And I think me being in a wheelchair, me representing disabilities, me breaking down these barriers, me showing society that people with disabilities have value. We here. We part of diversity and inclusion. We want to be that. We want to bring our skill set to the table.
Exactly.
And everybody can learn from each other. And one thing about a disability, it always teaches you to think out the box. And that's something that I've been great at, and that's how come I've been successful doing it.
And plus, it's also that, let's be clear, it's that Harlem in you too.
Absolutely.
That hustle mentality.
Right.
We gonna figure this thing out and make this thing work.
Absolutely.
And then it also comes from the South.
With that church, right?
That church, that Lord, the praying, the forgiving, the love,
Absolutely.
the foundation. Because the foundation could have been twisted and everything could have went left.
Absolutely.
So everything plays a part. It's like a puzzle that just comes together.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Now let me ask you this, champ. Let's get into the book, man. Well, you know what? I'm gonna flip it a little bit. What was one of your first accomplishments?
I think one of my first accomplishments was getting out the hospital, going back to school, because my teacher would come to the hospital and I was basically doing all my schoolwork from that September all the way to the following June, just so I could graduate with my 8th grade class from junior high school. So I think one of my greatest accomplishments at that particular time was just being able to make it to my graduation, to be able to roll up to that podium and get my diploma and look in that crowd at all the people that supported me and believed in me, that knew that one day I was going to be back where I started, and to graduate with my class and my classmates who basically, because there was no accessible buildings at the time, they literally carried me upstairs to class every day to my schools. Every morning when I pulled up and got out the cab, four of them come outside, grab the chair, and they carried me upstairs to my class. So that meant a lot to me. That was really like the beginning of my success story, And
you know what that makes it so crazy too, though? I gotta be honest, because a lot of us wouldn't even thought about finishing school.
Right, exactly. It
Let's
was so easy to give up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It was
so
to
easy
say
to
that you
give
were
up.
in the 8th grade and you were still determined to go across that stage. It'd have been like some of us. Let's be clear with it. Might have said, "Yo, for what?"
Right. I don't have no reason.
You know what I mean? I'm going to do all this for what? This is nah. And this what continues. I'm gonna say this probably 50 more times to make this story so much of the legacy is so grand.
Yeah.
It never stopped. The
Definitely
hustle and the bustle of the family, the love and the support never stopped. So for you to accomplish that, then it went on to high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you went to college.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
your education, you never use that. It's like I said, some people, man, I'm not doing all this. We got
Definitely.
brothers that's walking and don't even, you know what I
They
mean?
ain't
Don't even
doing
want to
that.
go to
Right.
school.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. I gotta fight with
Absolutely.
mine every day. Get up, champ. This is your
Yeah.
senior year. I need you
Right,
to walk that
exactly.
stage.
Yeah.
My brother's in the 8th grade, wheeling across the stage like, champ.
Exactly.
The determination. So that right there is, my man.
I mean, one of the things that I was determined was if I lost half of my body, I was going to take the other half that I had and just multiply that 10 times. So, I graduated from my junior high school. Then I went to Cardinal Hayes in the Bronx. I graduated from there in 87. Then I went to John Jay College. I graduated in 91 with my associates, 92 with my bachelor's a year later. Then after I finished John Jay, I ended up going to Adelphi University where I became a paralegal. And then I ended up getting my real estate license where I've been doing real estate for over 20 years. And like you said, it just never ends for me, and I still want to continue to do more.
And you will.
Absolutely.
Because the journey is at its peak, but it's no ceiling.
Definitely.
No selling at all.
There's no ceiling.
It's definitely super inspiring, man. Because I knew Jeff my whole life, but in 2014, it took me to ask him the right question, and that just was, what is it that you do? I've been sort of cars and all that. I've been seeing it my whole life basically, and it just, one day I was in college. I was 19, well, I was 18 years old at the time, and I just simply asked him what you doing. He was just like, yeah, I sell real estate and I work for Colgate. Palomar, that's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what's real estate? He was like, oh, you standing in it. And I was like, it didn't make no sense at the time. When he started laughing, he rolled to the back, showed me a check for $20,000. Changed my life forever, literally. And he was just like, yo, if I could do this, you could do this. And that's when I went on to, get my real estate license. It was tough, you know what I'm saying? But he was there every step of the way. I used to come from college all the way in Nassau County, Long Island, come all the way back, meet up with him in Harlem. We'd be sitting up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He got to get up and go to work. But he did so much for me, and It's just amazing years later, you know, what I done accomplished, but it all started and stemmed from Jeff, and he been there, you know, the whole way, you know, step of the way, and just showing me things that I would have never been able to see. You know, I didn't have nobody in my life that knew what he knew, and you know, knew like about real estate and the right things to be
Took
doing.
you in a different direction.
Whole different direction.
Instead of saying, here's 20 bricks, let's go down south.
Right.
Exactly.
The normal.
The
Right.
norm, yeah, the
let's,
norm.
let's just be clear. The normal. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yo,
yeah.
I got a plan. I got an idea. Yo, you can be, you're going to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that just goes to show you, you know what I'm saying, that it's too many of us out here that's being slept on for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And these are the people that we should salute. The people that's picking up other people. You know, I put a book in his hand instead of a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
You know?
Or drugs.
Exactly.
Drugs, yeah.
You know
Or a
what I mean?
scam.
Yeah, or a
Right.
scam. The first
Exactly.
book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. He was like, "Yo, Mike, you gonna read this book?" And I'm telling you, listen, I know it may sound, it sounds like cliche. It sounds like people heard it before, and it's like, oh man, that can't be true. I'm telling you, this is in 2014. It was my last semester in college. My dreams was folded because I wanted to go to NFL. I was playing football, and I realized that was not gonna happen. But it was like God opened up the door. I ran, like I said, I went to Jeff's house. And I asked him the right question, and that it's like literally it sparked the light bulb, I guess, in himself too, to even say, let me help this young man. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to meet on me. I was hanging out with him more than I was my friends. It became like that. I changed my whole image.
Great minds link up, champ.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and what I'm just saying, it took me to a whole nother level. Just perception, like he brought up, you know, that was already changed to him years ago. You know, from the time he got paralyzed, and it happened to me, even though I'm not paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? But I was paralyzed in my mind. Mentally.
Absolutely.
Mentally paralyzed is sometimes the same way.
Exactly.
worse.
You don't even know what to do.
Exactly.
Being mentally, then that comes up. You know what? Life is this. I can't make it. I'm ending it. I'm done.
That's it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially a young man with a career.
Yeah.
You said
yeah.
you played football. And I understand that because my oldest son,
Gotcha.
same admirations. Went to Rhode Island, West Virginia.
Yeah.
He to this moment, if he can get in that league, he would. But it also a time where you realize, okay,
Yeah.
I gotta go another lane.
Right.
Because this may not go.
But the question is, right, at that time frame, what is the other lane? If this was always plan A, it was only plan A.
That's all you
It
had.
it was plan A all the way to Z.
That, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's one of the things I explained to him. One of the first questions I asked him, I said, I don't want to take you from your dream of playing football.
Right.
But what I want to ask you, what happened to me can happen to you every time that ball is hiked. What if you get hurt? What's plan B? So always have a plan B. And like that term say, don't be ready, don't get ready, be ready.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so what I wanted to plant that seed with him to say, look, this going to change your life financially.
Yeah.
And you still can play football, and he still plays in the
Yeah,
league in
yeah,
Harlem.
still do, yeah, playing
I
leagues
mean,
all
that's
over.
what my son do.
Right.
The passion's not gonna leave. The reality is, okay, I gotta flip this. I gotta flip the script.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's, I gotta say this to you, young brother, because you're younger than both of us.
Yeah.
For you to stay that hungry, I salute you.
Absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate you. Definitely.
I have to say that because a lot of us be like, man, I don't want to hear that shit you talking.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? You just cause you in the situation you in now, bro. You listen.
Yeah.
You was a flower being watered, and look who you are now. You here. You with
I
us.
know. I know. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the flowers, and now you gonna do the same thing. You gonna plant another seed in somebody else. So the
Absolutely.
seed the garden just keeps growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And it's really started from his garden,
But that's what I'm trying to
the
say.
garden of greatness.
And I mean,
It's amazing.
one great thing, I mean, like, last Friday, we went and picked up the drop, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
When I first rode him in mine, he's like, wow, you know, like he's amazed with this car. And I'm telling him, listen, always be better than me. I want you to be greater than me, right? And now to go with him to a car dealer, put Bob a convertible and have him driving beside me.
Yeah.
It's no bigger accomplishment than that because I watched him from bottom up. And like I told him, you put your work in, you did what you had to do, so now treat yourself to something that you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, because at the end of the day, you done had multiple drops.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. And I'm
I had
telling
to
you.
throw that in.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He been doing that's what's so
Right.
amazing because he been doing it, and like he said, and this was all in 2014, like riding me around, coming to pick me
9
up.
years though, champ. Look at you. You
So
look good.
long.
You glowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
I'm
I
glad he
appreciate
brought
it.
you. It's an honor to meet you.
That's
champ.
why
Oh,
I wanted
no,
him beside
brother,
me.
you
I
know what
wanted
I'm
I want him to see the growth And now that he has the money, he got his real estate business.
Yeah.
He got his 1520 record company.
Yeah.
But what I always humble him and keep him focused on is not how much money we make, not how many cars we drive, but how many lives we change. And I do this and keep him close to me because he's been doing the same thing, giving back to his friends, helping them get their real estate license, and they also work with him. And we also bringing them up so we could see them do the same thing. And, we just want to keep this generation to generation keep growing, you know?
So you from Harlem as well?
Yeah, no, I'm from the Bronx. So 1520 is where I'm from, 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, the home of hip-hop.
Where hip-hop started.
Where hip-hop started. So I created the record label 1520 Records.
That's what's up.
And I have my artist, Lou Castro. I grew up with him. And
Who's your artist?
Lou Castro.
One of the battle rappers.
He's a battle rapper as well.
Well, you and him got to come down and sit down at the table too.
And Drama B.
Oh yeah,
too.
and Drama B as well. Yeah, Drama B. Yeah.
Let's bring the team down. You see,
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
enough
yeah.
room for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
team. You
yeah.
set that up.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
appreciate
You
it
know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
It's all about alley oops here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, appreciate it.
And I wanted him to meet you because, you somebody I respect. And,
Appreciate that, King.
me looking up to you, watching your podcast and just seeing these great things you're doing and just giving us a platform. Like, I think what you said is powerful. It's just, alley hooping and passing that ball to somebody else so we all can grow. And it's like, I could have came down here and met you by myself. I called him soon as you gave me the plug to say, look, we should ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
I let him know, listen, and he's like, well, what I'm going to do? I said, whatever we do, I said, that's what Shamika's about.
That's why I said take a seat. I didn't want you sitting over there in the corner.
Yeah, we ain't going to put you in no dark room.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Nah, I
some
appreciate
cats don't, keep the light on the family, but that's what this is about, bro. It's
Yeah.
about elevating, man. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is big for me because this is my 50th episode.
I would love that. Congrats.
Congratulations.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's big.
My man came to me, younger brother. Everybody kind of know the story. Yo, when you gonna do the podcast? When you gonna do the podcast? I'm like, man, what are you talking about? And now it's like I'm loving it because I'm all about giving. That's my essence of coming. That's where I come from. I come from two hardworking parents that gave me everything, and I was an adopted kid.
Gotcha.
Oh, got you.
Me and my sister, we adopted. Somebody chose me to come and gave me, and I wasn't adopted where they was getting a check. I came to Inglewood, New Jersey. I had a basketball court in the backyard. We had a backyard. My dad cut the grass. We raped. We went to church. So I was given.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Why not do it?
Absolutely.
But let me give also back because I don't want my podcast to talk about how many bricks you sold in 1988.
Right.
Absolutely.
The normal podcast that we've seen, and that's no disrespect or shade to anybody.
Right.
But I want to be for the culture because I believe we doing so much besides just selling crack.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And going 50 years in prison and coming back and talking about it because we so fit. Nah, let's talk about the real estates, the books, the sneakers, the production.
Yeah.
You being mentored from this king.
Mean a lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all these things is what we need to be giving each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm honored to have you here, Jeff, on my 50th because this is big for me. So it was like, yo, it was perfect.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate it.
I didn't even time it. It just landed because you were supposed to come the week before.
Absolutely.
And we flipped everything. So God, like I said, once again, God.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, what made you write the book, man?
What made me write the book is, my life, when I would meet people, everybody I meet want to know, like, wow, like, what happened to you? That's always their first thing. The first thing they see is the wheelchair, so they always focused on, and I wanted people to know it was so much more to me than just sitting in a wheelchair. It's so much more to me. And I wanted to leave a legacy, and leave my life behind for people to come. I wanted to do the book to inspire and motivate other people who was recently shot because there's so many teenagers, so many people that end up in a wheelchair, whether it's a gunshot, whether it's, a traffic accident. I mean, even people that just deal with challenges in their life who don't necessarily have physical limitations. But we all, no matter who you are, you experience some darkness in your life, whether you grew up a certain way, your childhood has darkness, and just giving somebody some type of outlet, some type of resource, some type of guide. If you just got in a wheelchair, like for me, I had to build that guidebook. I had to build that lane. You know, I basically was in the woods and I just cut a lane through them trees, and this is what I came up with.
You made a highway, champ.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's be clear. You did more than chop down trees. It's a highway
Right.
named after the god.
So, you know, I felt like, you know, I knew if somebody read this book, because I didn't just write this book. I never wrote a book before. You know, like people that read the book was so touched by the book, and it was so well put together. And I definitely want to shout out my editor, Nilsa Crosby, because she's the person that edited my book. But, you know, I spoke to a couple of other authors. I have a friend, he has a book called The Bullet That Saved My Life. He's also in a wheelchair, got shot in the neck, so he's paralyzed from the neck down. But, you know, he set up with me them long nights. And, you know, I had different friends of mine that we just sat on the phone night after night, and I put this book together, you know, with bouncing ideas off family and friends. And, you know, the book just came out to be more than I expected, to be honest, you know. But I put the work in, so I definitely was expecting greatness out of it.
Right.
You know, and I mean, some of the people that read it, you know, in the comments, you know, they wrote things like, yo, this book was like, I never read a book that touched me the way this book touched me. I had people tell me, you know, from the forward, from the introduction of the book, you know, I couldn't put the book down. And, you know, it changed my life. And hearing all these positive things come out of this book, it was just something that, you know, I'm so happy that I did it. And I'm definitely working on part 2, you know, because there's so many angles to my life, you know, working in, you know, a Fortune 500 company and moving from the mailroom to their legal department, you know, just growing within the company, them seeing the greatness in me, even with a disability, them sending me on business trips. All these things make a difference. All these things show people that look like me that's, you know, thinking, you know, I can't work. I can only sit home and get a check. And I mean, I'm really happy that during COVID, you know, that we had this whole remote working situation, because it gave so many people opportunities
To figure out who they are.
Absolutely. And it gave sitting people down for those 2 years, let them realize what's really important in life, you know, and understanding the true meaning of loving each other, you know. And I think that's what's been missing. You know, I think we came from a culture where we didn't really have a lot growing up, because, I mean, I know in a Hosky, we had outhouses. We didn't even have bathrooms when I came up, you know, in the summer times, going down there to visit my grandparents. And, I mean, we pretty much ate food out the garden and things like that. Fruit grew on trees.
I
And
watched my grandfather go in the back and murph the chicken. I said, hold on.
Right, exactly.
I'm talking about South Carolina. I'm like,
Yeah,
12.
exactly.
Like, what the hell? I'm not eating that.
Yeah, and I'm from New York. I ain't understand that culture,
I
right?
didn't-
So to know that we came from, you know, sleeping on the floor on a blanket, you know, to everybody got big houses now, you know, family doing good. You know, just the fact where we was cleaning one pair of sneakers, and now I'm in a parking lot looking at 5 or 6 cars, you know. So, I mean, going from where we started to where we have become, I just think with all these materialistic things, we lost focus on each other. You know, we stopped loving each other. We stopped caring for each other. We stopped helping each other. You know, and that's something that I wanted to set an example, you know, through what I did with Mike. And, you know, I have endless people that I mentor. Even at work, I have some kids from the Wiley High School in Harlem on 114th Street that I bring in every other Wednesday. And, you know, I take them bowling, take them to see Broadway plays.
Something different.
Yeah, something different, yeah.
Broadway, because a lot of them not even being exposed to
They
Broadway.
never been to a Broadway show.
Yeah, it's not even being exposed to them, and it's crazy. You know, it's funny. I'm gonna piggyback off something that you said about you think about where we came from. I was talking to my son last night. He's about to graduate high school, a little shy. He's from a Hosky.
Oh, okay. I
Gotcha.
gotta meet him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from a Hosky, and then I said this to him. I said, "Yo, you came a long way, champ. From being in a trailer, for me riding you on a scooter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you living in Inglewood. You got a little job. You working. You got, you know, you came a long.
Absolutely.
Like, you forget the journey.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We forget, like, yo, just a long way, champ.
Right.
Yeah.
You'd have never thought that when I was riding you on that scooter around that trailer, you thought this was the greatest thing on earth.
Absolutely.
Now you living up here with me.
Right.
I got custody of, you know, shout out to his moms. But it was, you think about these things, and so I think we forget that sometimes.
Yeah,
We just
definitely.
get caught up in what we doing and what's popping. We don't
Yeah.
ever take the time to say, yo, well, look where we came from.
Yeah,
We made some progress.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
And the thing is too, right? A lot of times, it's funny you even bring that up. Like reflecting is such a big part of growth.
Yo, look into the camera and tell them that again.
Exactly. One more time with that.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So reflection is a really big part of growth. A lot of times, if you never see how far you came, how do you know where you're gonna go? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you always reflect. So even with Jeff, I bring up this, and I think about it all the time. Like, damn, 2014 changed my life.
You said that
forever.
about 10 times, and we only been here an hour, but
It's
that
the
lets me
real.
go know that how passionate
Right.
that run was for you.
Yeah, it was so real. I can't explain. Listen, I remember when me and him was talking in the car. He's like, "Yeah, Mike, your life, before you know it, it's gonna change, and you're gonna be doing a lot better than what you're doing now. All you gotta do is just stay the course. Trust me." He just said, "Trust me, I ain't having no money like that. I was selling movies. I was selling DVDs at the time. Not no
you was
drugs,
hustling.
none of that.
But you was hustling.
Oh yeah.
And you chose to take a different path of hustling.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I respect that because
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time, you know, it's easy to jump into the game.
Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah,
They give
absolutely.
you a pack in an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
but it's real. My dad, you know, he just was like, "Oh, you can sell the movies, whatever case." Of course, I laughed at it. Like, man, I'm not doing that. I only seen at the time frame Africans doing it on the train and Chinese people. I'm not doing that, and I'm super young.
That goes our mentality.
That's
to our
ego.
black culture.
You know That's what?
ego,
When I
right?
see the Chinese and the African, I'm not
Right.
going that route.
My dad told me the realest thing in America. You know what he said?
What's that?
Yo, you want to make money? Take the movies. It's that simple.
I'm not giving you no more money.
You could be live. Listen, you could be cool and broke.
Right.
And that's what I tell my son. It's crazy.
You could be
as
cool
hell,
and broke.
you Be dead broke.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
You know what's interesting? His, not to cut him off, but he sold $250 worth of movies to pay for his real estate license.
real life.
And now, not even throwing his business and numbers out there, but the biggest check you got was what?
Oh, the biggest check I ever got? I got 180,000.
That's
Went
all
from
I'm
selling
saying.
DVDs,
Yeah,
$5.
$5,
yeah,
to
Bought
getting
a-
checks for $180.
yeah, yeah.
God is great, kid.
Oh, that was the most amazing. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Years later, like, I just gotta reflect because it's like even when obviously when you have success, sometimes you get complacent. But if you reflect, you will never get complacent. Just remembering where you came from.
Yo, and you know what, you said something that's so real because I felt like that today because on the weekends every once in a while I might do my Uber Eats,
Yeah,
That's dope.
but I'm by myself. So
Right.
it gives
Yeah.
me time to.
Thank
I'm bolting around. I might be talking to the crew. I might be listening to music, but I'm thinking. I'm like, damn. I'm blessed, and I say every morning, yo, I'm blessed for God putting me in the opportunity where I'm at.
yeah,
Even if the money ain't right, the gear may not be able to cop no gear, maybe been stagnated for a couple of while. But you know what? The car's still here. They ain't repo. We still got a roof. The kids
Right.
is alright. These are the things that I'm more worried about than just looking good for everybody.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Because look, we know, and I'm gonna say this with all due respect, we know a lot of brothers that look good, but they ain't got shit popping.
Definitely.
That's real.
You know what I mean? We done stood next to brothers that probably got $100,000 outfit on, ain't got $20 in their pocket.
Definitely.
And
Right.
You know, and it's just the society that we live in. We rather look good
Then be good.
than be
And
good.
be good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the crazy part. And you said something about June 25th. You know what I mean? For me, it was June 26th when I got popped in the face in Inglewood.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
after,
Right
yeah.
here. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
that was just, wrong place, wrong time. Shout out to my man. God bless my man T.O. You know what I mean? But that's the same day, 4 years later.
Wow.
2 years later, my son Shamik was born in a Hosky, June 26th, the same day.
Wow.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
now he's living with me up here.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's
it just
amazing.
goes to show
go
you when I
full
be thinking
circle
about
sometime.
reflecting, like
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
this happened here in Inglewood. I got to a Hosky. Shaw's born. Now Shaw's in Inglewood, the same place where I might have lost my life at.
right.
Definitely.
That's
So
deep.
it's all a circle.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes we live through each other,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and we willing to. And I feel like that's who you are, Jeff. You're willing to live through the others to let them be great.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna let this stop me. You're gonna be, like you said, you're gonna be greater than me. Everybody's not telling everybody that. A lot of brothers don't even want to. A lot of brothers want to keep you right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, nah, champ. I don't need
They
you.
want you
getting
good,
too
but
big.
not
Right.
better than them.
Right. They
Right.
want you cool. They want you
Right.
yo. And that's one thing my father and the guy said off of Sonny Carson. You be too cool, you're gonna lose.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But you know what's crazy, right? You see how like he says that, like, yo, I want to see you better than me. I want to see him get bigger than where he is right
Of
now.
course,
You
and
know
he
what I'm
is.
saying?
Exactly.
So
It is.
it goes full circle. What I'm saying is I want him to stay above. That's great. I'm cool with that. Trust me.
Instead
I
of
am.
pulling each other down the bucket,
Nah,
we pushing
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
We pushing them, man.
that's it, and that's what it's about. You know, I'd rather that recycle, not the negativity.
Well, one of the
Negative
rules,
thoughts.
one of the rules of 48 powers of law says, don't ever outshine your leader, right?
Yeah,
Can you say it again? Because a lot of brothers don't even know that. A lot of brothers ain't even read 48.
yeah.
One
You
of
know
the
what I mean?
one of the laws, one of the rules of 48 powers of law is never outshine your leader.
Never. But it's sad that a lot of us can't even stand by that.
Exactly.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because we get caught up in you getting more money, you got the girls, you got the whip. But you remove all that. You got
Right.
yourself. When you go in that bathroom at night, you look in the mirror at yourself. You don't
I
look at
never,
the whip.
Right.
I'll never forget when I heard Fat Joe say, the hardest thing for people to do is play their position as number two.
Oh,
That
yo,
was so deep.
We was talking about that. It's crazy you brought that up, right? Because that is a lot of people's problem. Everybody want to be Batman.
90.9.
Right.
Yeah, but they winning. You guys are winning. What kills me a lot of, especially groups and partnerships, it's so weird how
Even
some
athletes.
yeah, same thing. It's
Even
just
in a
that
marriage.
marriage, same thing.
Right.
Just sometimes
If
people
you-
don't understand.
Being
Like, Batman
married,
is Batman.
being married, people have to understand, right? We're partners. It's a partnership, right? Friendships, it's a partnership. All of these things grow. You know, like I remember my brother saying to me, like, when you get married, you got to understand something, right? You and your spouse have to be on the same page. You and your spouse as a team, y'all supposed to both uplift each other. Y'all work as a unit. When you see people work together, because I think where a lot of women get confused at is years ago, it's like men had a role where they did everything, and the women's role was to stay home. Now we in a whole new world where if your hustle is as strong as my hustle, nobody can stop us.
Yeah.
We gonna win. I'm not gonna win. We gonna win. I didn't marry myself. I married as a couple. We a couple. So when you bring yourselves together, then nobody should outshine y'all. Y'all should be winning together.
Yeah.
Period.
But
Very
once
true.
again, we get caught up in this, though.
Yeah.
And what that's telling us to do or what it's supposed
Social
to
media
be.
and all that. Right.
Society.
It's hype.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really all hype.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, I watched my parents come from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and Bowman, South Carolina, buy a home, raise us. My mother retired.
Yeah.
Father had his own business. They booked up out of here, bought 84 acres
Yeah.
in South Carolina.
Yeah.
They did it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom's pension held the family down because my dad had the business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's the essence. But that goes back to the South.
Right. Absolutely.
That generation with, like you said, the outhouses, 18 people in one house.
Right.
Yeah.
Picking cotton before you went to school, picking cotton when you came home, sharing everything. Yo,
Yeah.
if we can do
Exactly.
that, then we can do that with my partner.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If you look at even most women, like, you know, me and him doing real estate, and, you know, I have a female client, and they say, oh, you know, I'm like, do you own your house? No. You think about buying a property? Oh, I don't have the money. And I tell them, when you go home tonight, open your closet. You got 5 mink coats, $1,000 sneakers.
Yeah.
Bags.
The average down, you could do your first house, a first time home buyer, 3.5% down and $10,000 cash. So I think everybody literally has that in their closet.
Yeah.
So if you don't own, if I don't leave you with no other message here tonight, if you don't own where you live, sell some of your bags, sell some of your sneakers, and just buy your first property. And that first property, rent it out, do whatever you need to do, and turn those liabilities into assets. And you can buy all the clothes and sneakers you want after that first flip.
Yeah. And if you really want to keep hustling, just keep flipping.
That's it.
Give yourself a goal. You know, I'm going to flip for 3 years and I'm going to play for 50.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then if you have kids, you don't have to worry about if your kids is going to be all right. Then you handing that generational wealth down.
Yeah.
And that's really the way we need to start thinking, the way we need to start doing things. And let's stop trying to outdress each other, and once you start flipping, teach your girlfriend how to flip, and everybody let's start buying property. Let's start being owners of what
Let's stop
what we
keeping
doing.
everything a secret.
Right, exactly.
Like you know, we all knew that growing up. Yo, I can't tell you where I got my kicks from.
Right.
I got them right from KP Con. I mean,
Yeah,
exactly.
eventually know.
Right.
Or I'll go down to Vets and get your sneakers. Everything's a secret. I can't tell you where I got this.
Yeah,
But we don't even want to get that. I can understand that, but let's give out this information.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Because
Information, absolutely.
let's be clear, no one's gonna give it to us.
And the same
right.
way we have baby showers and reveal parties, let's start having business parties, networking parties,
events.
Stuff like that. And everybody's responsible to bring some knowledge to the table that other people and other individuals can share with each other, that they can walk away and everybody can elevate and build each other up,
Yeah.
Simple as
Yo,
that.
it's funny you just said that because I was invited to a business shower.
Right.
Oh, yeah?
And
That's dope.
that's
I literally 2 days ago I got the text from a young lady. Shout out to her and her daughter. Don't leave a crumb on the table if I'm saying it wrong, Kayla. Don't. Shout out to her, man. She just
Yeah.
bought her first food truck.
Oh, that's
nice.
dope.
Congratulations. Shout out to her
Congratulations.
from us too.
Yeah, yeah,
Congratulations.
that's
Yeah.
official. Yeah.
And that was big, and they invited me. So it's funny you said that. Let's do more business showers, and I was the first time I've ever been
Absolutely.
invited to a business shower.
Yeah, that's dope. I never
Definitely.
even honestly even heard that.
right. And we
That's
ain't
cool.
doing that because we want to keep out. We get to the baby shower, and you
Right.
sit in the corner with your Christian Dior, and I'm sitting in my corner with my
Yeah.
Louis. And
Exactly.
but meanwhile, like you said, we got property on, but we don't own no property, and we
Yeah.
renting,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
and we leasing, and
Yeah.
we financing.
But the whole idea is really just to, like you said, just really to flip the money. If you came up with $10,000, $5,000, I mean, just holding the money. I mean, like I don't know. I just feel like you got to be on offense. Defense, it's not really gonna get you nowhere. I'm telling you.
Right.
You can save as much money as you want, but problems is always gonna come. Obstacles. People need money. You need money, and
You spend money
you
every
just
day.
spend money every day. So how can't you think about making money every day? You know what I'm saying? Just all perception and just the way you think of things. Like you just have to change your mind. Like just don't think save. Think I just made $5,000. Man, how could I make? All right, maybe I could stash 2,000. What I could do with this $3,000?
But see, the problem with that is we get 10, then we want to go diddy bop.
I already
Right.
know.
And
Exactly.
then we go right back to where we started from ground zero.
Absolutely.
And then you complain.
And like, damn, I gotta get back and regrind.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
won't have to get back and regrind if you keep the same mentality
Absolutely.
going
That's it.
long enough to say, okay, this is the goal. You know
That's
what I'm
it,
saying? Because I'm
definitely.
not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll be running around doing my thing on the weekend. I'm like, damn, I did that. You know what? If I stay out here another hour, I might can get that. But that just
Yeah.
comes from me being on the block hustling back in the days.
Yeah.
I know if I stay, okay, I know the 6 o'clock rush is coming on in the morning.
Yeah.
The late nights, you know what I mean? You always, so if we can strategize doing a nigga, I remember when I went to prison, a brother told me, look around you. I looked around him, he was from DC. He said, yo, think about if all of us would have did something positive, we'd be sitting in a university or a business somewhere instead of sitting in
Exactly.
a correctional facility.
That's right.
And yo,
Definitely.
no one has ever told me that. Don't get me wrong, my pops and moms gave me these speeches, but he said, yo, if you flip the switch,
Yeah.
yo, it can be greater.
Absolutely.
Look how strong-minded
Absolutely.
brothers in prison are. Look how smart they are.
Come up
Yeah.
with everything.
Look how intelligent they are. Look how creative they become in prison. So if you use that same mentality when you get back on the street, right? Because everybody deserves a second chance, right?
Exactly.
But when you get back on the street and you channel that energy to something positive, and if we channel it before we even get to prison, we won't never end up in prison.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to go through those journeys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. To wake up. Absolutely.
Exactly, because that was definitely.
And that's why I have the utmost respect for brothers that, honorable, like the term we use in Harlem, honor up, because they were honorable men. They did their time. They committed their crimes, did their time. But at the end of the day, they came back home and they changing these kids' lives. They speaking at different events. They raising these young men to not do the things that they
right.
did.
Let's not,
You know what I'm
let's
saying?
not right, because nobody wants to deal with that. When you go to prison, let's be clear, your whole family's affected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Anybody that cares. about you is
Everybody's affected, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, you know what I mean? And my moms and pops told me, we're not coming to see you, and I respected that. I didn't want y'all to come see me.
Right.
Yeah, not like that.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
understand.
And then my parents, Christian parents, deacons in the church. Meanwhile, their kid is doing the bid, but they never shied away from me. But
Right.
it was the fact that, yo, I don't want you to see me like this. I made this mistake.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to hold yourself
I'ma hold it
accountable.
down,
Right.
just,
More people, especially like more people just need to think. All right, majority of the time you won't do a lot of things for yourself. I realize that. A lot of times you won't, but I guarantee you do it for your kid. I guarantee you do it for your mom. somebody in your life that you care so much about. Honestly, it probably feel like you care more about them than you do yourself. And I'm telling you, you'll break a wall. You'll run through a wall for them. That's what you
Definitely.
gotta think about before you making bad decisions like that.
Right, and that's a fact.
That's real.
That's
That's
real.
real.
And you heard
Yeah.
that here first, because a lot of us get caught up with the emotions and not thinking about the long term.
Right.
Yo, King, you got wardrobe. Let's talk about the varsities.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I need the camera to see the back of this though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just it's a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
the varsities.
And the dates on the side is the year I got shot, June 82. Yeah.
You never forget. Let's talk about the sneakers,
Kicks, man.
kicks.
Got different flavors too.
Ah man, well that's just the Harlem. You know
Hey,
what I mean?
yeah.
That's just the. You know what I mean? Oh man, he got colors, man. He's looking like Fruit Loops out here, man. You know what I mean? I love a Fruit Loop, man.
Yeah, yeah. The
Some
flavors.
joints.
You know what I mean?
There we go.
Let's put them up there. Casual, grown man,
Yes, sir.
And they
Official.
unisex.
right?
Can't
And
beat
because I'm always positive and motivating, it's a motivational quote up in the joint.
Absolutely. Every time you throw them on.
I want to motivate people as soon as they put them joints on.
Good shoes take you to good places.
That's real.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That's what we doing.
It's just never ends, King. You gonna leave it?
Every-
You gonna let that sit
Everything about me got to be positive, man.
up? Yo, let's talk about that.
I don't
though.
think negative. I don't want negative things around me. I don't even want to argue with nobody.
Right,
you know?
it's pointless right now.
Right,
We doing
because-
too much. We doing too much for the culture.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like positive people and positive things around me because it keeps helping me grow. And when you clear out all that negative energy, you don't even have a bad day. And like Mike can confirm to you, I don't have bad days.
That's real.
If things don't go right, I figure it out and then I make it right.
The last bad day was June 25th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know.
And they
That's
don't get no. You know what I mean?
Don't
That's
get
just
no
their
rest.
reality, baby.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? So the shoe game, you let it get fresh.
Right. So
So that just came. I think that just came natural.
I wanted something that
agree.
related to walking since I can't walk. And I felt like, when people support you, I wanted to leave that motivational quote because I like people to think positive. I like people to have positive thoughts in their mind. So I want people to wake up in the morning when they put their shoes on, if they having a bad day and they hear something positive, they can ride with it,
Absolutely.
Man, you
Um,
the mind just never stops, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just peeped this. He got it in Spanish for the culture.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. Hold up, I
Exactly.
turned the book around.
that's a fact.
Champ, you covering all bases.
All bases. I
all
mean,
bases.
I can't talk about diversity and inclusion and if I'm leaving people out. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to continue to hit more cultures. I mean, I ultimately want to do a book in Braille for people that can't see. And I know we can do an audio, so I'm going to either do the Braille book or the audio book. But when I did the research, there wasn't that many Braille books. So I wanted to tap into that. And that's just something else that, I'm looking forward to doing. I also want to help other people, write their first book because I feel like through our stories, we inspire, we motivate, and other people learn from our life lessons and the things and the challenges that we went through in life. And, so I want to help other people publish their first book.
I gotta cut you off on that.
Yeah, good.
My man been beating me down about when you gonna do the book.
Got to.
Have to.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front. My partner, that's my behind the scenes partner, he's been, yo, what's up with the book?
Right.
And I was like, yo, I gotta get my head, I want to get my head right because I just don't want to do anything. And then now I'm sitting here with a brother that's saying, yo, I want to help somebody do a book. Yo, God is working in so many ways.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't even realize it. But go ahead and continue because I want to touch on something too that for those that don't know, and I got to throw this in there, Champ, you flying too. What's going on? You got your pilot license. On the back of the book, my man is sitting next to a plane. And he's not entering the plane to take a trip.
Yeah.
He's getting in the plane to fly it.
Yeah, I fly planes. I got slingshot motorcycles. I mean, one of the things that you'll learn about me is I like to do things that
And you
people
put
don't
the S's
expect
on the
me to do.
slingshot.
Yeah.
One of the first I see to do it.
Yeah, it was
sir.
definitely one of the first slingshots with the BBS on it. I had the red slingshot with the red BBS. I got a 315 in the back, so it's 10 inches wide. Probably one of the biggest BBS rims in the back of that slingshot. And we just did the anniversary of our first Harlem Machines car meet was today. I want to shout out Harlem Machines for sure, for putting that together. But and OG Daniels for stamping it. He basically, we made a call. He pulled everybody together in Harlem so we could do the Harlem Machine car meetup. And one of the thoughts behind that was, we wanted to bring the cars out because the cars and the kids, it inspires them. I know they do a big car meetup in Teaneck, and then you got the BBS boys out in Jersey. Right. So, shout out to all the other people that.
Shout out to Drop 100 that we doing. They
do their joint.
But they doing something. They got one coming up soon, so we need y'all to come out too.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah, we want to support that too. Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Putting it out is shout out to Drop. I had him. He's doing something else.
But so I try to do things like I went water skiing. I do that also. I was supposed to go skiing, regular snow skiing, last week, but that got delayed. So I'm looking forward to doing that on the 25th out in Jersey. I'm gonna go play ice hockey on the skis. And those are just some of the things that I do. I do rock climbing. I mean, pretty much anything that you can think of that.
You're doing it.
You
doing more shit than niggas, brothers walking around here that's on their feet.
Yeah. So,
I ain't gonna lie. I haven't met a brother yet that said, yo, I want to drive a plane.
Right.
I haven't met a brother that, and I didn't know you did that till I just looked on the back of the book.
That's really why I named the book "My Feet Off the Ground" because everything I do, my feet ain't on the ground.
Exactly.
That's really what this book is. Absolutely.
It's
floating.
It's the truth.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I basically don't have no limitations. I mean, if you could think of something and I could figure out how to do it, I'm on it. It's just that simple. My first apartment I bought, I was 17 years old. I bought my first co-op in the Bronx, and I had 6 steps leading up to my apartment. And everything I say can be verified, And when I bought the apartment, everybody that came there said, Jeff, why would you buy an apartment with steps? Because I ain't supposed to have them. So that's why I did it. Simple as that.
Talk your shit.
That's real.
Talk your shit. There's nothing wrong with that because let's be clear, man. Like, champ, I gotta say this again. You're flying planes, man.
Yeah.
And when you go back to Harlem and you can tell the youth, yo, you can fly a plane too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're joking about it now, but I'm serious. When you think about it, who's coming to the community saying, hey, you could be a pilot?
Right. Absolutely.
Right. The narrative is either music, sports.
Yeah.
Yo, you can do real estate. You can be you can do this. You can do something outside of what you don't see.
Yeah.
I'm actually offended when people tell me they can't do something. It offends me. You know what I mean?
I think that's the only time you're angry.
Right. That's the only thing bothers me. I hate when people tell me they can't. I don't really like people telling me what they can't do because I've done so many things that I didn't even think was possible. Being in a wheelchair, what I won't say I didn't think it was possible, that people don't think it's possible. Right. Society never gave me credit, initially for the things that I have accomplished. Now that I have accomplished it, they understand it, they respect it. And, I'm happy that they have a different perspective on people with disabilities, people that's in wheelchairs, and people around me won't ever underestimate what I can do. Maybe when they first met me, maybe when they first saw me, they thought that. But I'm going to make it clear the first hour somebody's around me, they're going to understand that I'm somebody different and I move different, And it's just that simple.
And that was really, that's just you though.
Yeah, that's just who I am.
That's not who you pretend to be.
I wake up, that's authentic.
Right. You know what I mean? You're not trying to figure it out. This is who I am, and you standing on it.
Absolutely.
You standing on that solidly, brother. Let's talk about life changing moments in a husky. Because the huskies came a long way.
Yeah,
and you saw it. The time I saw it, it was nothing compared to what you saw it as.
When I first went to a husky, there was little cafes, dirt roads, everybody lived like down these dirt lanes. What was interesting, I moved from a husky when I was 2 months old, but I went down there to stay with my grandmother for the summer, every summer.
Of course.
So me living in a New York life that was super fashionable. Everybody had the latest Pro Kids, Adidas, like whatever fashion was out. We was real materialistic in New York. When I would go to North Carolina and I would have the latest outfit on in New York, they would call my sneakers. I have on some brand new Pumas or Adidas, and they say, "Oh, you got tennis shoes." I would wake up one morning and I see my sneakers hanging on a line where my grandmother washed them, and I'm like, "Grandma, why you wash my Pumas? Like, what you doing?"
What you doing? Not
And
the
she
suede.
said, "Yeah." So she's like laughing, like, "Jeff, what are you talking about? Boy, I washed them tennis shoes. They had mud on them." I said, they called tennis shoes and a pair of jeans. They wasn't really familiar with labels. The kids I played with down there was totally different. They had to go to church every Sunday, so
Mandatory.
right. I would wake up and say, "I ain't going to church," and my grandmother say, "Get up, go get dressed. We going to church." And I couldn't just wear on my Lee jeans and my Pumas to church. I had to put the suit on.
You had to
the
play
shoes.
the role. That's one thing about the South.
Right,
You're gonna have
exactly.
that suit on. You're not
Right,
going there
exactly
like as is.
You embarrassing the family,
Right.
But
Who are you?
Right, exactly. So, I had to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like your manners had to be right. Your
Everything.
dress code had to be right. When adults was in a room talking, you had to leave the room, and it's things like those foundations of the culture that I miss. With this new generation, they move different, and I think we need to bring some of those old ways back. Just to get them back on track. Because we had to respect our elders. It was unheard of for like a kid to disrespect a teacher or elder or something like that. And one other thing of the culture in North Carolina, that no matter who house I went to or my grandmother visit, when you come in the house, you was always like part of dinner. Like you had to sit down and eat with the family. They said, "Look, we just cooked dinner. Sit down, have a plate."
The kids had their table
Absolutely.
in the corner.
Right.
Go get them a seat.
And when you got ready to leave, you was gonna leave with the sweet potato pie,
Exactly.
the bread pudding, or banana
Cornbread.
pudding, cornbread, something.
And Mom Dukes helped clean the kitchen before she left.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody had chores. I remember being little where I would go and feed the pigs. I had to go get the eggs out the barn from the chickens, things like that. That some of my friends in New York can't even imagine that I ever did that.
Right.
So that's part of my history that, I'm really happy that I was able to, driving tractors with my grandfather, things like that, as cutting grass with riding lawnmowers, and I pretty much learned how to drive.
That's where everybody
right, 6
learned how to
years
drive
old,
down
right.
there, because the thing was, let me get on this tractor.
Right.
Yeah.
When I tell people I was driving at 6, they can't wrap their heads around that in New York, because they like, they don't even believe it. But
And at the end of the day, everybody's parents didn't have cars in New York.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Then the go-karts and stuff like that.
That
where-
was everything down
Right.
there.
So I had go-karts. We basically built go-karts in the backyard. So
In the barn.
Right, in the
off
barn.
that tall ass pole that came on later on.
Right,
if it got
exactly.
too dark.
And the other interesting thing, if it was like thunder and lightning outside, you had to cut the TV off, you had to cut the lights off.
What?
Everybody had
That
to
was
lay
the
on the
blackout.
floor and be
Yeah.
quiet. So
Survival
yeah,
mode.
exactly.
That's a different world right
Yeah,
there,
that's
for
a
sure.
whole different world.
Different world.
Now look at a Hosky.
Right.
You caught it way earlier than I did. I ain't gonna lie. When I moved down there, and once again, I'm coming from up here. Now I got family in the South. But my first place that we lived at was in a trailer.
Yeah.
Me and my man, shout out to my man Buddy, still the team, 139th, he from Harlem, his family. Yo, we lived in a trailer in Coleraine. And homeboy said, yo, I want $250 a month. I looked at that and I said, what?
Right.
$250 a month for a $250? The
Yeah.
only time I've been around, and like, this is new to me. Like,
Yeah.
we gave him a couple of dollars way more. We're not gonna put the amount. He was like, "What? Give him this.
Yeah,
He's not gonna see us for a couple of months. Let's get this out the way now.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Let's
Yeah.
let's knock this out the way." And really, the Hosky was the first place I really seen a renter center.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't see that up here.
Got
Definitely.
Down there was what? Renter center is it? You go down there. We walked in renter center. He's like, "Oh, you got a job? A job? I got some money."
you. Yeah.
Like, we didn't understand it, but I ain't gonna front. I'll never front on the A. I loved it down there.
Even
That's dope.
watching people that worked in McDonald's and a Hosky had trailers, had houses,
Right,
and they had cars.
right.
And what else was what I loved about a Husky, if your car broke down, somebody would pull over, drive you home, take your car, have your car towed to the nearest person that fix cars, and they would fix the car, bring it back to you, and if you try to pay them, they'll say, "I'll just come over for dinner tomorrow."
Right.
Wow. So it's more of a community.
Yeah,
It is.
that's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
population of maybe, I don't know how many.
5,000.
Right. You know what I'm
Five,
saying?
6,000. Yeah.
So everybody know everybody.
Everybody know
Everybody,
everybody.
my cousin.
Everybody.
Wow.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
crazy.
And I ain't gonna lie. And they had one, when I'm down there, they had one sneaker store, Athlete's Foot. And it just bugged me out because we had to go all the way to Virginia to really go get fresh. My man like, yo,
Yeah.
you can't get fresh down here. I was like, yo, where's the first thing I said was, yo, where the gear at?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the LTD club, the OC and
Yeah.
Joe Askew run. I mean, those my Uncle Joe and my cousin OC. They had the club down there, and even the club was like the main club in a Husky. That
Like the tunnel.
right.
Got you.
It's
Got
like
you.
going to
That's
125th
crazy.
Street when it's met on African Day Parade. Everybody met
Right,
up there.
exactly.
Got you.
And everybody got fresh. And they
Yeah.
had to meet there. And then what bugged me out was I'm like, yo, where do you buy clothes at?
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to go to
The city-
Virginia sometime.
Yeah, gotta
Yeah.
go to Virginia. My man like, we got the city trend. I said, city trend? What the hell is a city trend?
How far is it from Virginia though?
An hour.
An hour. It depends
Okay.
on where you want to go to really get fresh. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
Got
Exactly.
you.
If
Got
you want to get close, me coming from here, I want to be close to. So we drove, maybe went to MacArthur Center. That you know what I mean, and that was like a trip. Like,
Yeah.
Got you.
Yo,
Just to go get some
Virginia
gear.
Beach was like, that's what we doing for the weekend.
right?
Oh,
like
okay.
this was we going to the mall. Cut your
Got
phone
you.
off. Ain't nobody running around doing nothing.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
going
yeah,
to Virginia. We going to get some oxtails because you ain't get that in the
Absolutely.
Husky.
Got you,
Like
got
I'm
you.
eating up top food.
There's 3 main restaurants in the Husky. You got Golden Skillet, right? They
Okay.
serve like fried chicken.
Got you.
Grease spot.
Barbecue sandwiches that people
Got you.
in New York with coleslaw we eat barbecue.
Yeah,
sandwiches.
yeah,
Most
yeah.
people don't even eat.
Yeah.
Then McDonald's and a couple
The
other
basics.
spots. Right.
They
Okay.
just started getting
Bojangles.
Bojangles. They just really
Bojangles,
got
what's
another.
that?
When I grew
It's
up in a
Popeyes.
right.
Okay,
When I
got
grew
you.
up in a Husky, they didn't even have a McDonald's when I was young.
Wow.
So if that's how far back that town.
Not even. Yeah, that's
originated.
crazy. No McDonald's sound
Right.
crazy right now.
Exactly.
McDonald's
Yeah,
is
that-
everywhere.
That was.
So that's crazy.
If you looked at a map probably before the 80s, you wouldn't see a Husky on the map. They recently put it on the map. I don't know what year, but if
Right.
you go way back to the 80s, 79, 80, you probably won't see it on the map.
Wow.
Uh,
That's
I ain't
crazy.
gonna front. I ain't gonna front. I love that place.
It's
That
the
place.
smallest place, but the heart is big.
Got you.
So
The heart
it's,
is
it's
big.
I mean, even when I did the book, I did a whole chapter on what life was like in a Husky because
Yeah.
it really was the foundation of what made me who I am.
Yeah, that's official. I love that.
And that's fine because I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it taught me 2 things. It taught me how to save $1
Definitely.
That's real.
because
And respect money and
respect
life.
money
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, we was doing whatever we was doing, and it was different. Because when you up here doing that lifestyle, you go get fresh. You go to 120, if you're going to Harvard, we gotta go get some gear. We're gonna party. Down there, you're not partying every night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're partying Friday and Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You
It's none of
working.
that. Yo, we going here on Monday. It's just tap dance Tuesdays, and it's none of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like I said, yo, OC, what you doing? I'm done. You home? Yeah, come over. We smoking and we playing the Madden.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
You can really, it taught me the value of $1,
Got you.
but it also made me realize, yo, man, I got my license from a Husky.
Right.
I couldn't even get a license up here. I went down there and was riding a scooter.
Wow.
Wow.
Riding a scooter from Orlando to a Husky, running around all day, filthy as ever. You know what I mean? But the guy said, yo, he pulled me over and said, yo, you know you can get your license. I said, what? That joints is twisted in Jersey. Back then they didn't have everything combined.
Yeah.
So that
right,
just
yeah.
goes to show you that place allowed me to even get certain things that wasn't accessible to get here. So
Right.
shout out to the A for that, man. Everybody down there, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
official.
mean? You know what I mean? Those small towns is, yo, it's a blessing. You be like, yeah, it's like this joint that you see with the woods flying through. But that place, man, believe it or not, I met some great brothers. And honestly, this is where I really see my guy at, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
And here we are sitting at the round table on the 50th episode.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
That's just a Husky.
wow.
Right.
You
That's
know what
crazy.
I mean? I might just label this a Hosky. This episode a Hosky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's official.
Shout out
Big
to
shout out
Hosky.
to them though, man.
Shout out to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My son said he's never going back down. He said, "No, Dad." I said, yeah. He's like, "No, you're bugging."
Yeah.
And I get it because when I first
Yeah.
brought him up here as a kid, I took him to New York. He looked up. He said, "What's this?"
Yeah.
He saw the buildings. And it blew my mind. A small kid at that time coming from that place, seeing New York City, he was amazed.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
They actually shot a movie. My cousin, Demetrius, Tony Askew's son.
Okay.
It was called Mississippi Dam, and it was the whole of Hosky was featured in that movie.
Wow.
They actually shot it in the Hosky, but the name of the movie is Mississippi
Now
Dam.
he got two.
Mississippi
This is
Dam.
the youngest son to me, or
The oldest. The oldest
Okay.
is Demetrius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to and God bless
Yeah,
Tony.
God
too,
bless
man,
Tony,
the family,
yeah,
man.
you
That was
know.
Tony was my cab.
Wow. Yeah.
Tony was my cab driver, bringing Shamik and his mom to the house over in Atlanta. Yo,
Wow.
Tone, I need you to. All right. He was our cab driver.
Wow.
Nice.
He was our Uber before Uber.
Right.
absolutely.
Real talk.
That's crazy.
Yo, I just need gas money. What? Gas? How much you need? 20. Yo, take 100 and just
And that's how Hosky
Yeah.
is. If
flip
you
it
need
back
a
all
favor,
week.
it's
You know
done.
what I'm saying?
Got you. Yeah.
So, that's just goes to show you, man. And Hosky got us here, man. And I'm sitting here with books and clothes and
Absolutely.
mentorship programs.
Yeah.
I didn't know you was in the real estate game. You sent me that yesterday. You sent me that today. You see, I threw that up ASAP.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And I said, yo, okay. I got it. I didn't know you was in the real estate game.
Yeah.
What made you dive into that? Let's talk about that for a little bit.
The thing with the real estate, I always like to give back and pay respect to people that put me on. So Kim Parker, which was one of my friends, she's now the judge of Manhattan, and she was a lawyer at the time, and she opened up her own real estate company, Parker Realty. It's one of the first real estate companies I worked for, and she just saw the drive and determination in me, and she said, "Jeff, I think you would be good at this. You know a lot of people, you interact with a lot of different people. I think, you good at selling things. I think you should do real estate." And I never forget one of my first deals I did was on 167th Street and Anderson Avenue in the Bronx. One of my friends, Katie, told me his sister wanted to sell her a place, and I ended up selling that apartment. And it was weird because she was moving to Connecticut, and the family I sold it to, they was teachers at Yale or Harvard, and they was moving to the Bronx. So it was real weird because one was going to Connecticut, one was coming from Connecticut, and he was a musician. The guys, him and his wife that I sold the apartment to, and they ended up doing an article on it in the New York Times, and they featured me in the New York Times for that deal. And from that point on, I just started, really doing the real estate. And one of the buildings, I had a sponsor at 675 Walton Avenue. It was a building over there that I ended up getting like all of the sales and the rentals in that building. And that kind of was the successful part of when I really started making money in real estate. And, even though I had bought my first place when I was 17, and I also bought a house in the Hosky, I would buy my own properties as well, but the whole core of me selling real estate was really the Bronx. When Harlem got priced out, and then the Bronx became the new hot spot around that Yankee Stadium area,
Right.
I was just one of the first real estate agents, and I was working with Kim Parker, and one of the head real estate agents in that area was Ariella Hellman. And me and her connected, and we did a lot of deals together. And doing those deals, I learned a lot from her as well. And, a lot of people that I met in the real estate game, and, them teaching me the things they were doing, and we was learning from each other. I was able to get featured a few times in the New York Times and different real estate deals. Then I probably set like one of the highest sales in the Bronx in that area. And when I did that, I ended up putting a property up for sale, and it went 100,000 over asking price in a bidding war. And when I hit that number, it was one of the highest numbers for the South Bronx.
Wow.
At the time, on a 3-bedroom unit. So, I kind of got known for that, and now I went to New York Real Estate Institute where I got my license at, and they also have me featured on their website, Alumni in the News, for that first sale I did over in the Bronx. So, I mean, when I go on the website and see me featured on a school, it means a lot to
Official.
me. Yeah.
That's official, King.
Yeah, that's
official.
official.
It's a
I
stamp.
I see the smile on your face just so you
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
It's a stamp.
That's like Christmas morning when you wake
Right.
when you woke up and got that gift that you've been
exactly.
scratching
Yeah,
for.
you know.
It's a stamp.
And, you know, even during my first deals, you know, it was funny. Like, a lot of my clients would come and the doorman be sitting there and they like, you know, like I would be in the lobby with the doorman and I would always sit there to see the reaction of the
That was
client.
my next question.
Right. So, one of my clients come and they like, oh, I'm looking for Jeff Williams, and he would always laugh, and he's like, he's right there, and they was like, no, the real estate agent, he's right there.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, sometimes society can't accept what they not used to, right?
Yeah.
And it, you know, it never bothers me because it's a learning experience for them, not for me.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so for me to see them respect that, learn that, and then when I'm at the closing with these same clients, you know, by then they get to know me, they get to understand me, they get to see that, you know, I'm just sitting down, but the skill set is there. What I bring to the table is there. My knowledge on real estate is there.
They forget all that
other
what they
stuff.
first saw.
Exactly.
That goes out the window.
Right. So I think in real life, we can't always get offended when people don't understand our situation, right? We have to educate them. That's the time to educate. That's the time to show them. That's the time to set that example. And that's why I live my life the way I live it, where even individuals in the street that I meet for the first time that don't really understand, you ain't got to explain me. My life will explain it to them. And then I'm going to move a certain way. So, you know, like you said, I'm going to run harder. So anybody that steps to that table, I'm expecting the best from you because I'm going to give you the best from me.
All the time,
All
too.
the time.
You're not shortchanging the culture.
Nah, not at all. You know?
Sure.
And that's crazy because a lot of times, sometimes we get so comfortable that we feel like we can cheat the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something my pops told me. He said, yo, don't cheat the game, teach the game.
Definitely.
And I didn't understand that. And he was like, yo, just give it everything that it needs.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? The same thing you give it to yourself, you give it to other people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything comes back full circle, man.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, King. What haven't you done?
I mean, I think I pretty much did so many things, but I think ultimately I want to make a movie.
I was going to ask you, what's going on with the documentary, man?
Yeah, so I've been in touch with a few producers. I've been in touch with a few movie people. I'm real big on paperwork, and the numbers got to make sense, and everything got to be right. And I'm really like, even for my book, it's no Amazon, it's no Barnes and Nobles. I sell that book myself off my website because I want to meet everybody that buys that book. I want them to come directly to me. I feel like these are the people who've made me great. These are the people who support me. So I feel like I should make myself accessible. If they reading a book that's motivational, and for somebody, whether it's them or somebody in their family that need me to talk to them, need me to meet them, need me to interact with them, it's free of charge because I don't really charge to motivate people. The bottom line is I want rights to my life because that's my life. That's what I've been through.
Right.
So even with the movie, you know, I don't have a problem doing a deal, but I want the deal to make sense. I want it to be beneficial to me as well as the producer.
Right, and we're not selling our soul just to
Right,
say we did a
exactly.
movie.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, I'm still at the table with that. I met a few people too when I was in Iona up in Boston that, you know, want to meet up with me on some more movie conversations. But until that deal is right, until I feel like not only, I don't just want to make a movie, I want whoever produces this movie to be into this story and understand the meaning of it and the purpose behind it. And we're not just going to the theater to make $1. I want it to be more of a purpose than just money, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense too, though, because my man, the journey has to be put on. It has to be televised.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely does, because the book definitely is like the gateway to the movie.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna front. I was itching to ask that question. What's up with the doc? Because I know
Right.
it's something in the building.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that for sure.
Definitely need visuals though.
We
'cause-
need it,
Yeah,
and I know
yeah.
you're gonna be hands on all the way with it because it's your story, and I can see you out there whenever what year they shoot. You gonna Man,
I
I'm
wanna
waiting
play-
for that.
I
I can't
wanna-
wait for the premiere. I'm in the building for that.
Yeah, I want to play me. To be honest,
I was
that's
going to ask
official.
you, who
you know
would you
that's
get to play young you?
well. My son is 24.
Okay.
and me and my son is very close, and he's one of my greatest accomplishments. So, I definitely would want him to play that role. You know what I'm saying? And I would want, like, I've been dancing with that beginning of the Ray movie for that role for my mother because she had that tough love that they, presented in the Ray movie. And then I also like the movie Clint Eastwood did with the $1 Million Baby. So I really want a producer, that can definitely stamp that.
And he has to bring something. You got to put a Hosky in there.
Yeah, for sure. So
You
I
got to
mean,
shoot
I want to shoot
literally
a
down
scene.
there.
Yeah, that's official.
Yeah, of course.
We not taking no backdrops and nothing. We need to be down.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm so loyal to the people and the places I've grown up. When I did my New York Times story, when people look it up, they can actually see that camera sitting in the backyard in a Hosky. That's a fact. I sent the camera crew to my mother's house in a Hosky, because that's where my mom's at. And the camera's on deck in a Hosky because that's where it started. I can't never. One thing about me, I don't forget the people that helped me get where I am, and I don't forget where I came from.
Right.
So that camera will be in Harlem. That camera will be in a Hosky. That camera will be on Teaneck Road, where I spent most of my rink days. That camera will be in High Bridge, where my other family, like most people say, where you from? I'm embedded in so many different places. People don't know where I'm from.
Yo, and that's why I didn't really put Harlem's own, because I'm like, yo, my
Right.
man, he's everywhere. So I'm
Know
gonna
what
just,
I'm
you know what I
saying?
mean?
And I mean, like, the respect I have in every borough, every state. I mean, people to this day argue, Jeff ain't from the Bronx, he from Harlem, because I grew up on 149th Street. That's where it started, And then I moved to High Bridge.
Right.
But I got family in Harlem. I got family in High Bridge. I got love everywhere I go, And that's something that I appreciate from all of them. So when them cameras start rolling, I got to show love in every one of them places.
As you should.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yo, before we get out of here, man, Young King, let the culture know what's going on with you and the label, man.
Yeah, so with us, man, pretty much, I got my artist Lou Castro. I'm actually looking for producers right now.
I got somebody. I got an alley-oop for you.
Yeah, all right, that's great.
My man Duke Dollars.
Okay.
He's retarded. I'm gonna send you his IG. He was on the show. He's a Duke
Official?
Dollars. I'm throwing an alley-oop to you.
No, real talk for sure. Yeah, I'm looking for producers right now. Just pretty much, looking to like with us, we like really big, like we're like a family. You know what I'm saying? These ain't strangers that's with me. Drama B is the president of 1520. Myself, Lou Castro is the artist, and these are guys I knew from. We talking about young. 11 years old. Yeah, I literally grew up with them. So years later, to be able to help Lou Castro and his dream, right? Because he's actually the one that came to me about the idea. Because I'm mostly I mainly do real estate, and with real estate I was making a lot of money, and at the time frame I was like, I had the money. I was like, he's like, yeah, man, all I really need is somebody to invest in me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I created the label. I wanted it to be meaningful. That's where we from, 1520. So I was like, look, let's do it. And then it's crazy, like. Few months later, I ran to Drama B. Drama B knows Lou Castro from battle rap, and he commented, and I was like, Drama B, I know him as Brandon.
Right.
And I'm like, I wrote him, I said, yo, Brandon, what's up, bro? He wrote me right away. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing as a big mainstream artist. He's actually in EDM. This guy got over 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. He doing his thing.
$1 million.
Yeah, he just hit $1 million. Like,
wow.
So it's crazy, like that time apart. But everything makes sense years later.
It comes back around.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
And then that's why I'm always so big on like how you treat people. Always treat people good, man, because you never know who these people become. And you never know what they can do for you later on in life when it really matters and when you need it.
When it counts.
When it matters.
Not the backdoor bullshit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much, we just growing a label, and like I said, I'm looking for producers at the moment.
I got something for you. I'm gonna throw you that, man.
Yeah.
I want you and your team to come back and sit down with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We
for
actually
sure.
was gonna
Set
bring
up.
Drama today, but something came up.
Yeah. You got a little
Definitely.
busy.
I need y'all back in the building with son. I mean, son, ASAP.
any
Yeah, let's do
document shooters. I mean, if you got people that shoot documentaries, we can sit down, chop it up with them too.
Yeah.
I mean, the more the merrier.
I got my camera guy who was with me while I was outside all summer.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
cool.
I can sit down and, you know what I mean, and all this
Wrap
shit.
our heads around, yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Just, you know, we can all network. That's what it's about. I love
Absolutely.
giving assists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
saying?
Likewise. Yeah, man. Any way we can help, man. Any way we can help. That's what
we
we're about.
we self motivated. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm this type of person. Either somebody reach out to do the movie on the doc, or I'll do a couple of real estate deals and put that bread up and do it myself.
That's real.
That's just how I do
I know you
things.
ain't waiting on nobody, so
Nah,
I already
not
know
at all.
that.
That's how the book happened. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm always on the runway when I get clearance from the air traffic controllers. That's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple.
What's next for you, King? What's next for you, Jay?
I mean, right now I've been doing a lot of motivational speaking events, and I'm actually trying to get Mike involved with the motivational piece also, because I want to start doing real estate seminars, you know, and so I want Mike to be one of the speakers when we do those seminars, just to give him another avenue, another level up on the real estate side.
Yeah.
Because what's important for me right now, because me and him, you know, working on opening up this real estate company, another real estate company. And when we open this company, I want to, some of the people that we are mentoring that to get their real estate license, I want to already have the lane there for them where we sign them on, they come work under us, and eventually they become brokers. Like Mike just became a broker also. I already have
Yeah,
my
thanks a
broker
lot.
license. So
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, but that showed you, Tom, though, staying the course. That's why I'm
Yeah.
really big on people
Exactly.
staying the course, because I'm telling you, anything you want to do is definitely possible. It's just a bunch of distraction out here. But as long as you know what you want to do, map it out. I'm really big on journalism, honestly.
King, how old are you?
I'm 29. Wow. Yeah, 29. I'm really big on journalism and self-development.
podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, self-development in general, man. It helps. Like,
who's a
it's-
podcaster you watch
who
for the real estate?
for real estate wise, Cody Sperber. I actually met him in person. Cody Sperber, big investor. In Arizona. I literally paid. I got to tell you guys a number because it's all about like investing in yourself. I'm really big on it. Paid $20,000, right, just to take his mentorship program, and I actually got to meet him in person. And I'm gonna tell you, it changed my whole life. Like even at that moment last year when I paid for that, my last year was the most money I ever made in my life, but I spent 20 grand. But the most money I ever made in my life. So it was well worth it. It was like, oh, it's amazing.
See, you know what, brother? I gotta say something about that. Cause a lot of cats are like, yo, you giving him $20,000 to do da 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 da. You didn't allow that to push you away from it.
Absolutely not.
You stayed. You knew what you wanted to do, and I salute you for that.
Yeah, appreciate
And I
you.
give you your
Stay
flowers
focused
for
on your
that
dream,
because
yeah.
a lot of people will try to choke you out of some shit.
Right.
And I had the courage to say some shit because they, nah, but you gonna give him that for? You know what you can do with that 20?
Yeah.
Or the shorty might have, you giving him 20, we can need a bag, we can go on a trip.
Right.
You invested in yourself and you're happy about it.
Oh, absolutely.
At 29, an average, a lot of brothers is not thinking that far, man.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
They not
absolutely.
thinking longevity, they thinking tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
next month, or maybe next year.
Yeah.
Or the next hustle.
But the crazy thing is, like the 20,000, people don't understand. It's still with you. It
That's
never,
it,
it
that's
never
it.
left me.
Right.
That knowledge is forever.
Yo, say that, man. Come on. Say exactly
Drop
what
that
you just
again.
said.
Yeah, that's
the,
real.
The 20,000, you looking at it like I'm giving it to him, right? I'm looking at it like the money's still here with me.
That's it.
That-
Yo,
it's
You
it,
just
it's
really
him.
got your clip for this episode.
Yeah.
You
it's
got your
real.
clip for this episode. That clip's getting dropped.
Yeah,
Because
that's
people
real.
don't get that.
It's real. It's
Definitely.
real. You know what I'm saying? That money's literally nothing compared to what I done learned and what I have with me forever, and I can pass on. So
If people invest in themselves, they will become greater than they could ever imagine. And the
Yeah.
problem is, people get the bag, and now they got the bag, they done. One thing my brother always told me, Jeff, don't ever get comfortable. When you don't get comfortable, you're going to stay growing. You're going to stay excelling, you know. And we're a year apart, but he my big brother, you know. And he's doing really well, you know. So I'm really proud of my brother. And, you know, my brother's doing really well where people like, why you don't ask your brother for money? Why you don't get that from your brother? You know, he doing the mansions and all type of situations, big boats, yachts, things like that. But one thing my brother always instilled to me is I want you to have your own lane. I want you to get your own money. You know, I want you to look at what I'm doing and be inspired and keep up. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever feel like I got to hand it back to you, you know? And one thing that I like, he always set that bar higher and higher. Every time I catch up, he go to the next level. And when he go to that next level, then I'm on my grind. This is why I do all the things I do.
And
Because
then the young king is on his grind.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
on it.
domino effect.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So every time he make a move, like I'm doing these speeches, I'm doing these podcasts. That's why I'm bringing him here, because don't ever get comfortable with me where you feel like, all right, Jeff did real estate, I'm doing real estate. No, we on the next one. Go get that drop, catch up.
Yeah.
Now he went
Yeah.
and got that drop. Now I might jump on that Bentley or something. Now, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every time he make a move, I'm passing him that torch because you got another race to run.
Right.
Yeah.
Baton. Let's
Yeah,
keep going.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. And you know, I thank Jeff a lot, man. I mean, everything is so amazing. I mean, the book, him in real life. I mean, honestly, at this point, people should be paying him. Honestly, I feel $1,000 to even see him and talk to him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't even repay him. Like, I feel it's crazy. I done told him this before. Like, I don't think I can even repay you with money. I don't even know what to say to you at this point. You know?
I'm gonna be honest, man, and I'm gonna say this, man. As I'm sitting here talking to y'all, man, I'm looking at you, my young king, and I'm seeing a smile on your face and a joy
Yeah.
of sincerity and the love you have for that brother, because I can see, like, it's different. And I'm saying all this because I need the culture to understand. Y'all not in here with us. Y'all gonna see this, whatever. But my man right here is so passionate. He could tell he's the gratitude and the love for Jeff, man. We got to continue to spread that and be able to give each other our flowers now.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
salute you for giving him his, and I know this ain't just for TV.
Oh, no.
So
yeah,
I
no.
already know all that. Like, they saying, yo, we just gonna sit here and we gonna play this game. No, just because a lot of that's going on.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody want this status. I know, King, your status, you don't even look for that.
Nah, not at
Your
all.
game is impeccable. It's not a stain on it.
Yeah.
But I need the
Appreciate
people to understand that, yo, man, we got to continue to keep giving, man. Let's continue to keep loving and keep giving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And give something positive to each other so we can extend the hand and give it to another brother, because that's what you're doing with your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question.
And you sitting back, Jay, with your arms crossed like
Proud of you. Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, it's real.
And not
It's
on
real.
some mentality like, yo, it's my son, but you can say, yo, this is my son.
No, but real.
Respectfully.
No, let me tell you. That book he gave me, the very first book he gave me, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, he just told me read it. That's it. He just said read it. And as I read through that book, literally my life, it literally became like that. My dad didn't know exactly what he knew about, real estate and all this stuff. My dad didn't teach me that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? But he put it in perspective, and it was like, it's crazy because he's my rich dad. He's my rich dad.
And it's not like, yo, on some whack, like, yo, that's my son. Like the cat, yo, that's my son right there. Yo, that's my son.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
But he's on the same level as his pops.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's
And
crazy.
you accept that, so I respect that.
That was really the ultimate goal. My ultimate goal, that was a dream come true last week, getting the car and everything, because I said, man, instead of being next to him in the passenger, that was all great too. But being behind him, being beside him, that's amazing. Because I already know his passion and him, how much he want to give back. So I try to be the best mentee he ever had.
You're not trying, you striving.
You're doing it.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
doing it
That's
on
a
all
fact.
levels.
Yeah, man, I appreciate
On
you
all
guys.
levels, man. We gonna close out, man. I need the people to understand where they can contact you and let them know where they can reach you at. They interested in, the label.
Yeah, on real estate. You guys could follow me.
Real estate first, label second. Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
We'll
Definitely.
put that out. Real estate first,
Definitely.
label second.
Yeah.
Label's
man.
the hobby, even though it's gonna go where it's gonna go.
It's
But
gonna go, yeah, always.
Right.
Real estate. They need to get in contact, because
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes brothers don't want to reach out to brothers that's older than them.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
They want to get the game from somebody they can kind of relate to.
Yeah, I get it. You know
You know what I mean? So I need the culture to know where they can find you at, King.
Yeah, you can on Instagram is Growth with Mike. I'm mainly on Instagram. I have Facebook, Michael Marcus Jr. That's my real name, and pretty much with me, man. I'm always here. Like, you guys got to reach out, and you guys want some tips on how to be better every day, each day. Everybody needs a word. You know what I'm saying? And that word is not only in church. You know what I'm saying? You can find me, Instagram
We having
in
gospel
person.
right now. We having church right now.
You know what I'm saying?
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. We create this. It's within people. You know what I'm saying? So definitely feel free to reach out to me. And I always, I got a helping arm all the time for anybody. So Yeah, I'm here.
Jeff, let them know where they can touch you at, Jay, Playboy.
I'm at Shoes by Jay Lorenzo. That's my Instagram. All my links to my books, the sneakers, everything is on that page. And if you ever have any situation, your family, your friends, I mean, it ain't got to be, some tragic situation. If you just want game, if you just want to learn how to make money with real estate, holla at me. I'll help you get your license. I'll pave the way for you. And hopefully I'll have you sitting at this table one day too. So we'll have another story of a successful mentorship situation, and you'll leave with us in them drops.
Yeah,
right. They outside, and they didn't even. I'm gonna keep it a buck. They didn't even put the tops up.
Yeah.
They just parked it and hopped out. Like that's just
it.
But that's a whole nother story. Yo, fellas, I thank you both.
It's a pleasure.
Likewise, man. Been a pleasure.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
It's an honor for us to be here, man. And like just from me to you personally, man, because I mean we from the same roots. And just to be able to sit on your podcast, man, I'm like super proud of you and all that you're doing, and the fact that you even give us this opportunity, to show my brand, to show my book, to let Mike, speak about what's important to him in his life. And, you basically giving us that platform. You giving us that lane. And, I mean, I definitely want y'all to go out and purchase the book. You'll see the website. I mean, I think this book is super important to help motivate you, change your life.
I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, for sure. And, I want to see more people up here. I mean, I follow your podcast and, the people you bring up. The young lady you had up here last week, I watched the podcast on her. And, like, I'm super proud of, the younger generation. And, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him up here, that, people younger than us, just giving them opportunities, and us being older, just opening a platform and setting up something like this, and, just having,
diversity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, diversity.
Absolutely.
Because it's crazy. Each generation need to be heard. Believe it or not.
I believe in that all the way. That's why I want to touch everybody.
Yeah, yes. Each one teach one. At the end of the day, the same way we learn from you guys, you guys can learn from us, and it's vice versa. It doesn't matter.
It's all about the
game,
man. It's all about the game.
Yeah.
Yo, you know who it is, man. It's the voice of the culture, man. It's the Big 50. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I say thank you to everybody that been supporting, watching. Yo, thank you, man. I got to get out of here. I got my team in the building. Yo, God's good, man. Have a blessed week. We out of here.
Absolutely.
Fellas.
One.
Yes, sir. Dope.
1, 2. Check me out right here, yo. Need to turn the track up a little bit for me. All up in my ears. The mic is loud, but the music ain't loud. Yeah. Now the mic is low now. Turn the mic up a little bit. My shit's all the way up. Yeah. The music is loud. It's knocking though. That's what I'm talking about.